I knew Book would be a character ever since he popped up in King of Pride. Like, a scarred, brooding hero is basically my kryptonite. And the character of Ayana actually didn't really come to me until maybe later, like King of Greed or King of Sloth. Like, I was trying to figure out who would be the best pairing for him, and then I was like, you know, she is the one. And then it all just kind of went from there. I had a feeling that some of them would probably like it because it is a return to my morally gray era, but I think what surprised me was how much they like loved Shadow, who, if you haven't read the book, is the cat that Book kind of adopts. And I should have known because they do tend to kind of latch on to the smaller kind of characters in some of my books, but I was really surprised because I saw so many like edits and TikToks of like Book and Shadow, and I think I wasn't quite expecting that outpouring of love. So Sebastian has popped up quite a lot already in the series, and he kind of his family owns this sort of like culinary restaurant empire, and Maya really popped up first as a character in King of Envy, although her family, the Singhs, have been mentioned kind of briefly throughout the series. And so her family is also in the food space, and they are definitely rivals to lovers. They went to the same boarding school when they were little, so it's academic rivals to lovers, and then their story is going to follow them. Obviously now they're grown up and they're kind of career rivals to lovers. I can't say much without spoiling, but it is going to be a very fun dynamic, I think. I mean, who knows, you know, I do love a morally gray character. I cannot confirm or deny at this time whether Roman will get his own book, but just watch this space, I think. I don't think there has been any so far that haven't panned out. I think there have been some side characters from my previous series, like Lila and Mary, who was a fashion designer that first showed up in Twisted Lies. I'm still I haven't fully figured out who the couple for some of my later books are going to be yet. So I kind of flirted with the idea of giving her a book. I haven't fully decided yet. But for the actual men, they've all worked out, I think. Honestly, I just wanted something different. I love the Kings of Sin series, but it's 7 books, which is a lot, and I think in the middle of it, I was like, I want something that is just very different. It helps with my creative process when I can kind of like go back and forth. And I do really enjoy watching football, or soccer as we call it here in the US. And I thought it would be really fun to have something set not only in a different city, but in like a completely different industry than what I'm used to writing. And it has been great. I think kind of alternating back and forth between the Gods of the Game series and the Kings of Sin series has given me kind of a renewed enthusiasm for writing the next book in each series, because I've taken a little bit of a break from it. And so I'm writing The Defender now, and I am super excited. It's gonna be like a coach's daughter forced proximity romance. I will say their story will have a tiny little bit more suspense in it than The Striker did. Like, not as much as King of Envy did, because that had like a lot of suspense, but just like a hint of it. And so basically there's like kind of this danger that makes Vincent have to move out of his house, and he ends up moving into Brooklyn's house. And then they come up with this bet that basically who can make the other person cave first and or kiss the other person first. And so there's a lot, like I said, a lot of forced proximity going on. And I think it also explores their relationships with kind of their families, because Vincent is adopted and Brooklyn moved from the US to London to be closer to her dad. So it kind of explores that aspect of their lives as well. I mean, there's always room for dinosaur erotica in my books. And the guys do have a book club, the Black Castle Book Club, where they read dino erotica together. So I think she'll pop up for sure. Oh my god, I don't know. Maybe. Never say never, but I think I have not quite ventured there yet. Yeah. It's hard to say anything without spoiling. I will say, I do know what series is coming after I finish Kings of Sin and Gods of the Game. It's gonna be a little bit darker, I think, than what my current series are. Not quite like super dark romance, but darker. A little bit more action and suspense, I think, and that's really all I can say for now. Ever since I made that announcement, I've seen a lot of dream casts and a lot of fan casts. And for me, as the author, it's always really fascinating for me to kind of see who people envision as these characters. So I'm kind of neutral on the cast themselves because, you know, like they're fan casts. So it's kind of a look inside their minds. My readers are very passionate about the casting, and so, you know, I think it's great to have a fan base that is already so invested in the show already, but, you know, just a reminder that these are just people's dream, like, you know, like their dream cast and fan casts are not set in stone yet, but yeah. It was interesting. It was an interesting experience. Yeah, I mean, I can't say much, but we are moving along on the process. Right now, I think we are focusing on just kind of nailing that script, and then everything else kind of flows from that. So that's all I can say, really. Oh my God, this is so hard. And it's because I've spent so much of my career just thinking of them in these couples. I will say, and this is not my idea, but there is one couple that everyone's kind of cast as like an alternate couple, which is Alex and Jules from the Twisted series, because they're kind of like, oh, imagine this sort of like enemies to lovers, like he can't stand her at first and then she's just there to like rile him up and all of that. So that is actually one couple that I see fans talk about a lot as like an alternate. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to imagine the others with anyone except their one, I guess. I've done most of the tropes that I want to do. I think I would be interested in doing single dad one day. That's something that I've never done before. I actually haven't done a lot of tropes that involve children because I don't have children. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, like what's the difference between a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old? Who knows? But yeah, I would be interested in doing single dad. So maybe that's coming down the line. I don't think there are any tropes that are a hard no for me in terms of reading or writing, but I will say probably the one that is not quite my cup of tea is like Secret Baby is not my favorite, which is not to say I won't ever write or read it, but it's kind of like lower on the totem pole.